Okay, take two. So Elizabetta has really kindly agreed to share her soul contract with us. And we're really
Mhm.
going to be deep diving into the talents of the soul contract, which are like, I call them the filling of the sandwich, the middle of the sandwich, the meat, the
Mhm.
juiciness of the soul contract. And talents often get overlooked. Everyone's like, gotta get through my karma, gotta reach my goals. But you forget about the talents, which are the key to
Yeah,
unlocking
yeah, that's what
everything.
I was just thinking.
Yep, talents are key. So we're going to go straight into
It's
Elizabeth.
like your toolkit. It's
Yep,
like you come here with a toolkit and they forget that they
yep,
have a toolkit.
exactly. And we want to use this toolkit and
Mm.
we want to really take advantage of it and use it to our full potential. So just so you have an understanding of your soul contract, is we've
Mhm.
taken all the letters of your birth name on your birth certificate and we've translated them into the ancient Hebrew version, which only has 22 letters in its alphabet. And each Hebrew letter corresponds with a number. And that number is the energy that goes into your life. And
Mm.
because sound, as I said to you, sound is a vibration. So the sound of your name creates the energy in your life. And
Mm.
all the energies that you've got in your chart are what your soul chose. Your soul decided, I want to evolve, I want to get home or get closer back to spirit. And this is what I need to do to get there.
Mm.
So, all the numbers that you see, you'll notice we've got a lot of 7 energy in there. Some 2 sets of 10 ones and a 9 in physical karma. This is interesting because I've given 3 mini readings today and everyone had 9s in their physical karma, which is really
Mm.
strange, really strange. And when you see the same numbers coming up, you get a dominant vibration, which is 7. So 7 is a
Mm.
key energy in your chart. It's a key energy in my chart as well. And we'll go into that in a minute. What I'm just going to explain to you is what you're looking at here. This is where we map all of those numbers from your name.
Yeah.
And we have the physical triangle pointing to the earth plane and the
Mhm.
spiritual triangle pointing upwards to the heavens.
Mhm.
And these are almost like the physical energies come through earlier in life and the spiritual energies come on a little bit later once we've worked through the majority of this. But
Yeah.
everyone's really different. Okay.
Yeah.
So energies with all the numbers are all always interplaying and having fun with each other at the same time. It's like a tapestry. They're all playing together.
Mm.
So let's just look at your karma first. So karma is what you might have found a little challenging in life. Okay.
Mm.
And sometimes we need a little bit of distance to have that perspective on our childhood.
Mhm.
Um, or sometimes we can understand things straight away. And karma is not something to be scared of or feared. It's where it's where we get our wisdom from. It's where we get our capabilities, our potential, our experience from.
Mm.
And then we're also going to look at your talents, and your talents are the same, which means that your soul has provided you an exact frequency match in talents. So it really wants you to get on with these things,
Yeah.
which is very cool. And as someone who has a lot of 7s in her chart, I know the 7 energy, and it's a really great one to have. And then these are your goals. These are
Mm.
what your soul really came here to achieve. And everything is really wrapped in to the soul destiny. The soul destiny pulls in all the energies of all the other numbers.
Yeah.
So let's dive in. I'm going to dive it straight into the talents because this is what we're really interested in. Okay.
Mm.
So the 7s are all about coming into your full authenticity, coming into an integrated version of yourself. So, do you ever find that you can be a little shy with some people and quite confident with others?
Hold on 1 second. I'm just writing this down
I'm
quickly.
going to record this, so I'm going to send this to you afterwards. So don't worry if you
Oh,
want to.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Never
I'm going
mind
to send
then.
this
No,
to you.
sorry. Um. yeah, I felt like yeah, some people I just went silent, like
Yeah.
didn't speak, went dead silent. I think I had that in school as well. And then other people that I got along more with, I you can get me to stop talking.
Yep. So sevens often have multiple different sides to themselves. The energy is very Gemini.
Yeah,
So what happens
makes
is,
sense.
yeah, the sevens often have a little bit of heartbreak.
Yeah.
And this can come from childhood.
Mm,
It can come from school. It can come from our parents. It can come from anything.
yeah.
And we feel very wounded. And
Mm,
so we only feel safe to show a certain version of ourselves to the world.
yeah.
And then we keep the rest of us wrapped up, hidden away, and we only show people we feel really safe with.
Yeah.
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 So what I always ask people with this number, and if you feel comfortable to share, was there something that felt a little bit hurting when you were younger? Was there something that felt a little, yeah, disempowering or a little wounding?
Um, so I probably won't go too much into it.
You
So
don't have to, no.
yeah, I just recently got the diagnosis for autism. So a lot of my time I did spend um masking or what do you call it, people pleasing,
Yeah,
which is apparently is a common trait of a Gemini, is people pleaser. But
yeah,
there was yeah, there was a lot of I think there was a lot of heartbreak in all aspects of my life, but
okay.
it's we're all growing and we're all learning.
Yeah.
So
Thank you for sharing that. It's really hard. In
yeah,
inner reading, it's a lot more personal when we go into this, but this nine energy in your karma is often to do with that betrayal, that heartbreak, and that
mm,
loss of power. So
yeah,
yeah, it's almost like that power is taken away from us.
yeah. And I've always struggled with because I know as a child I was very expressive, but that sort of as I grew older, that sort of went away.
Yeah,
So I think just due to other experiences, but I think now I'm really trying to get my own voice and sort of set healthy boundaries. So it doesn't mean that I'm shouting at the setting unhealthy boundaries. It just means that I'm doing it in a way that creates a stronger relationship with people in
lovely.
my life.
Yep. So you're basically stepping back into your power.
Yeah,
This is really what you're here to do. When you have nines in a soul contract, they're very powerful. You have a lot of power,
yeah,
but because it's in this position, it's almost like people with this power sometimes have to get squashed down a little bit.
yeah,
And you're here to spread your wings and take up space.
yeah,
And nines are incredibly artistic.
yeah,
They are very creative, very strong channels. They're very
yeah,
connected to their intuition.
yeah,
What I love about nines as well is that they can often feel like they have this invisible protection around them, like they're always going to be fine, no matter what happens.
yeah,
Do you ever feel like that?
yeah. Well, actually, yeah, I do feel like that. But my mum, it stresses out my mum because, she worries about my safety because I have no sense of danger.
Yeah, but and that's sometimes, nines like very strong. They sometimes do have to be a bit more aware of their physical bodies
Yeah,
and things. They don't want to
yeah.
burn
She's the
out.
one that sort of reels me back and tells me, makes me think through it before I do it.
Yeah, so nines want to go for it. And what's really cool about your sevens is that you're really here to be a communicator, to be a linker, to be the link between other people and information or knowledge or
Yeah.
others. So the symbol is like this, it's a link, and
Hmm.
you are the link between people and what they desire.
Yeah.
So it's a very networking, people, magnetic energy. So how does that feel when I say that?
It's sort of it makes sense to me because obviously I follow a lot of people. Like, I've always felt like I wanted to know the truth,
Mm,
and even if I didn't get the truth, I wanted more. Even though I would try and make something out of something that's already there. Like, I just refuse to accept it.
yeah,
Or I'd always try to tell people um like a better way of doing things or sort of living
yeah.
is what I've experimented with and all that. But it's sort of I've been told that, I can't really force people into that way of thinking, like they have to come round to it themselves.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Sometimes they do. People need space. And often we're so
Yeah,
enthusiastic about things. We want to sort of be like, here it is, look at it, take it. And we have to
yeah,
let people come to us.
yeah. Because
Uh,
I have
Yeah.
sorry, I had to understand that people on their own journeys as well. So they do things in their own time, and it might
Mhm.
come to them later down the line when they've had their set of experiences.
Yeah, and you know what's playing in here? The 10 ones really want to be of service. They
Mm.
really want to help people. They want to help the world. They want to help society. So does that resonate?
Yeah, yeah, it does.
They've got very high integrity. They're here
Mm.
to work hard, to be of service. It's really, really beautiful. Very strong, so like godlike Archangel Michael-like energies of the 10-1.
Yeah,
And the only watch out with this energy is you don't need to be 10-1s can often be a little bit Virgo, so they can be quite analytical, a bit perfectionist, and it's all about leaning back and
yeah,
letting go of that. Yeah.
yeah.
And 10-1s can also be a little self-judgmental or judgmental
Hmm.
of others. They have to learn to be a bit more compassionate with themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's always the case.
Yes. It's just leaning back and allowing yourself to just be as you are and know
Mm.
that that's enough. And the other thing I was going to say, when you were saying about you wanted to tell people things, the 5 here, this one here, is all about speaking the truth.
Yeah.
5s have to speak the truth,
Mm.
and they feel a bit repressed if they can't. And the interesting thing with 5s is they're here to speak the truth. They're here to be pioneers. They're at the
Mm.
forefront of new things, very spiritual,
Hmm.
psychic, powerful, but very light in terms of power energy. But the 5s can sometimes struggle to assert themselves. So they
Yeah,
have to learn to speak up.
yeah, that's something that I'm trying to work on now.
Brilliant. So it's all about the throat chakra with the 5s.
Yeah,
And speaking your truth, it's very important. And you know what? 5s are very good at speaking and writing. So you write music.
yeah. Also, another thing was my mum was shocked because when I was younger, I had something because along with autism, there's something called hyperlexia where you read lots and lots of books. But I was sort of grown out of that now. But when I was 5, 6, she said that I was writing things that um an adult would write.
Wow.
She
Okay.
thought, because obviously she was also into mediumship and all that, so she thought that spirit were helping me out, but I hadn't realized because I was a child, and child are
Mhm.
more susceptible to these energies, and I had a lot of issues as well.
Yeah, 9s are very strong channels, and the 10-1 is strong source energy coming down through you.
Yeah, yeah. So I've learned to protect my energies now that I've
Yeah.
sat in a circle and she's taught me how to do it properly. But
Yeah.
when I was a child, I had real difficulty sleeping.
Yeah. So interestingly, with the sleeping thing, the 14-5s are a very interesting energy. They can be very intense because the
Mm.
14-5s want to know who they are. And this it's all about mirroring. So the 14-5s mirror things back to people and they receive information from others. So do you find that you have interactions with people and you're like, oh, I learned that about myself, or let me reflect, let me show you, when you said, I want to tell people things, sometimes it's that I want to show people things.
Um, could you just elaborate on that for me,
Of
please?
course I can. So we call the 14 a multi-dimensional mirror. And
Mm.
what that is you can see things in people that they can't see themselves. And every person you meet, you see something in them, but it also reflects something back at you. So you might have a conversation with someone and it might spark something in you like, oh, that person's talking about that. I do that too. Or it might be that you can see stuff in people that they're not aware of. And it's almost like you want to tell them because the fives want to tell them. They want to speak up, speak the truth. Like, do you
Yeah.
realize what's going on?
Yeah, I think sometimes, yeah, I think I've had a couple of circumstances where I have been like that.
Yeah,
And I have told them, aren't you aware of this, and this? Or, sometimes I felt like in just previous interactions I've had with people, whether it was romantic, this and that, obviously I pick up things from them, but then
yeah,
it's sort of like, hold on a minute. They're just it's weird because obviously like they might not be like the most healthiest version of them they are at the time. But at the same time, like each different interaction, it's always been a different part of me that they were reflecting. And I
yeah,
just found it was so weird because I thought, as obviously I didn't like what they did, but I thought they're reflecting something. And then it's like they were reflecting me, so it
yes.
freaked me out.
It's a gift, okay? It's a real gift. And people with 14 fives, so I have one in my common name and my talents, and I've got lots of fives in my birth chart. So fives can be very psychic, and I do not think I'm a psychic at all. I'm learning how to tap into my intuition.
Yeah,
But this 14 5 energy is very useful for any counseling, therapy, anything where you're showing people parts of themselves that they can't see. And
yeah,
you'll learn a lot about yourself because it's an intense journey with this number of learning who you are.
yeah. And it was just so weird. Like I'm just gonna share a little bit, like even with like past romantic interactions, they were all showing a different part of me that I was maybe
Yeah,
suppressing or hadn't fully developed, or maybe I needed to do more healing or whatever wounds that need to be sorted.
yeah.
And it was just like freaky because obviously I was upset at the time, and like once I like did the work and all that, I just thought. And it's just like really weird. I just found it weird.
Yeah, so relationships are the most important thing that we can have to show us the stuff that needs healing,
Yeah, that's
especially if
why
you're self-aware. Yeah,
that's why I don't believe in isolation in so much, because I think people are there to trigger things in you. They're there to send a
yeah,
message that there's bits of you that are still unhealed.
absolutely. And they're just showing back at you, yeah, stuff that, if we don't like someone, it's like, well, what do I don't like about myself? It's a
Yeah,
big
it's karma.
reflection. And yeah, the 14 5 can be a lot about having those relationships. So it's really important to have time on your own outside of
Yeah,
relationships to reflect and to
yeah,
like take a breather because relationships for you and for me actually are very, very always showing us stuff. It can be quite
yeah.
tiring. So, really, to sum up, you're here to step back into your mighty, mighty power
Mm,
and heal the heart, constant healing. Sevens can carry a lot of deep programming that
mm,
we just keep pulling up, we just keep pulling it up. And you're on a journey like me with your 14 fives to really get to know yourself. It's a really beautiful spiritual journey. And you're here to be of great service to people with lots of integrity and to ground this strong spiritual energy that you have within you and be a very stable support for others.
mm,
And you're here to be a translator. The 16/7 is all about translating higher level concepts into plain English on Earth. So bringing
mm,
things from the fifth dimension, as it were, down
yeah,
into the third dimension.
mm,
And you're here to really show it to people. You're here to write about it. You're here to speak about it. You're here to be a pioneer about it. You're here to take on all of your many experiences and condense it into the written form and show it out with the world.
Yeah, so I was saying to Charles the other day, actually, in a recording studio, it's like I have a vision. I'm visualizing every aspect of it.
Yeah.
And then I said, like an ultimate concert of all the concerts, like the biggest, most ultimate concerts of Songs of the Truth, where
Wow.
it's all inclusive. That was sort of like my vision. And it ties well in the actual like thing, but it's gonna be so awesome. It's what
I
I'm
love that.
visualizing.
So you're going to connect a lot of people together. You're going to be sharing the truth, be doing it with integrity, but you need to ground your vision down. So I learned this about the fives, and I have them. Fives can have great ideas, but we need to ground them, because fives are quite airy-fairy. We're quite in the ethereal. We're not very grounded. We overthink things. I'm talking about myself, maybe. We need to get all of these beautiful ideas that we have and ground and root them into earth, into the physical manifestation.
Yeah.
And then we're pioneers.
Yeah.
So there we go. There was your soft contract.
That's amazing.
I'm going to stop the recording. You were fantastic.